Hey there, how's it going? Donald Henderson here. I don't usually say dates when I do videos, but in case someone watches this a year or so out, they know what we're kind of referring to. Um, or this is September of 2025, and September we have some anniversaries in America that gives us pause, and some other things have happened recently this month. I'm not going to go into detail about it, but if you see this soon after I publish this, you know what I'm talking about. Sometimes events in the world can make us stop in our tracks, completely throw us into the weeds. The news of late has been times like that. Many of us have had feelings of negative emotions, including fear, and some people even have hate. The thing is about hate and fear is fear can make you do things you may regret later, and fear pretty much makes you freeze in your tracks. Back in the old days, as some of you know, I used to be in IT, computing. They would say the old expression is garbage in, garbage out. So if you're doing any kind of analysis with computing, you can have a great program, a great machine, the whole bit, but if you give it crappy data, garbage comes out the other end. So in other words, the computer really didn't do a good job because it didn't have anything good to work on. So be very careful with what you pay attention to and what you listen to, people you listen to, media, things like that. Sometimes you have to cut it out. You have to limit it, because too much of it, especially when there's things you're powerless to do anything. We individually, we can't save the world, but we still get upset. So the thing about garbage in, garbage out, it's for information and for your nutrition. I mean, if the thing is, if you're not eating well, you're not going to weather storms like this very well either. So some of the things you can do to help you get through these times, your faith, your work on your mental health and your physical health, your promises to yourself and others. You got to keep going, because if you just stop, let the fear take over, it could really damage you in the long term. One of the first things I recommend, and I think I've done this in a couple other videos, is turn it off. This is a remote for a TV. That's a power button right there. You hit that, turns off the TV. Guess what? You don't see or hear anything anymore. It'll let you take a break. By hitting that button, you turn off the TV, and then you do some self-empowerment. Start working on you to take care of you and those you care about. Yeah, turn off the TV. It's not just the news these days. I got to tell you, you can tell I've been around for a while. It's other programming, it's movies. There's stuff in there that is just subtle and not so subtle that's deleterious to your well-being. Things people say. Back in the old days, and I hate to say this because I sound like a grandfather, but some things were a little bit easier back in the day. We all got along a little bit more. Like I said, 9/11 was a time that not only did it scare us, but it also brought us together. I remember where I was working, regardless of political stripe, almost everybody's cubicle, their office, they put a big American flag up there. We're all Americans at that time. I was shocked by that. I didn't see that before, but here we are 20 some years later, and we're at each other's throats. It's mind-boggling. So it's just not the news. Programs, movies, social media, things you see on social media will probably get your ire up as well. 9/11, I learned about addiction to news then, because 9/11 we had a lot of 7x24 news channels out, and a lot of us, that's what we turned on to see what was going on, because even though the crashes and all that happened on the East Coast, and I lived and worked on the West Coast, We had no idea what was going to happen. I mean, that could have gone all the way across the country. We did not know. We were stupid as to what the plan was with all these things. I remember that day at work, we all sat at our desks and we listened to the radio or went someplace where we could watch the TV, and we didn't get any work done. I mean, we didn't know if we were going to survive. We did not know if we had a job the next day. I mean, everything may have just collapsed, and we're just sitting there at our desks. Why do anything? Because tomorrow it may not matter. So it all got us hooked on TV. So whenever some big incident happened, a lot of us would turn the TV on, and a lot of us would leave it on all day long, because you never know, there might be breaking news that we have to know about. And as you know, news is never good. Right? I mean, if you think about it, if you sit in front of the news all day long, I don't care which network it is. I'm not going to tell you which one I listen to or not listen to, but excuse me. If you have that on, even on a subconscious level, you're getting fed negative emotions, things that make you not feel good. And sure, we want to know what's going on in the world, but all news is filtered and spun. And what I mean by that is that not just news sources or outlets where you live. If you get news sources from other countries that have your language, like in America we mostly speak English, you'll get news stories that you didn't even know existed. I mean, things that happen like in Africa or the Middle East, some things happen, we never hear about it. So it's filtered. We don't get all the news. Okay? So didn't mean to bring that up, but that also adds to some anxiety, because what's going on that may someday we have to deal with. Anyhow, if you're going to watch it and keep it to a minimum, so at least you know what's going on, but don't dwell on it. Don't start sucking down the negativity, the arguments, the finger pointing and all that. I mean, it's not going to help you. There's nothing you can do about it. So when you turn off the TV, what are you going to do instead? You got time now. What are you going to replace all that negativity with? Well, one of the first things is stay connected to your faith. Read your Bible, pray, go to church, meditate. Think about the good things. Like I said, you gotta have the garbage in, garbage out. If you feed your computer with good things are going to come out of you. Show love to those closest to you. Seriously, hug and kiss your spouses and your kids. For no reason, reach over and grab their hand and squeeze it. Let them know that you're there. Look them in the eye and tell them that you love them. I mean, it's not just good for them, it's good for you too. It strengthens the bonds and makes sure we're all together. We're a team, we're a family, whatever. But make that strength there. That's how we get through these times. Commitments. Keep your commitments. Your goals. Keep working on your goals. Keep those promises to yourself. Keep moving forward. Unless it gets so bad to where, you're locked up in your house, there's still things you can do. And news can be bad, but the thing is, just because you see bad things on TV doesn't mean it's happening outside your house. Okay? Most areas are safe and most areas are peaceful. Moving forward and achieving your goals helps you with your mood, keeps you centered, keeps you with that sense of purpose. That helps your mood, okay? Keeps you strong. Get outside and move. Take a walk outside, get some fresh air, get some vitamin sun, feel that sun on your skin. Say hi to the neighbors as you walk by. Walk your dog. Exercise is good for so many things. And I'm not talking about going to the gym and pumping iron. I'm just talking about getting the blood flow. It helps with your sleep. The blood flow to everything, including your brain, gets the oxygen to your brain, gets those endorphins going, those natural feel-good hormones. And that improves your mood. Keep moving. Just don't sit on the couch and watch the news all day. Now, as many of you know, I was a psych major in college, and so we took a lot of interesting classes, and one was on mood, M-O-O-D, mood. And the professor that taught the class also did research in it, and one of the things he wanted to teach us about some research methods and also about his research was a mood experiment with sugar versus exercise. So what he did is he split us up to split the class in half. One side got sugar and the other side got exercise. And I don't remember how he got the sugar. I think he basically told us to go down and get a candy bar out of the vending machine or something. But anyhow, he would have a little sheet of paper that had questions on it, and there were several sheets, and each one had the same questions, but we had to take it at so many intervals throughout the day. And I believe we did it for the whole day. Then we brought it back the next class meeting and tallied up the numbers and analyzed the data. Well, what we found out is that you take the assessment at the beginning before you do anything, so you get a baseline of what your mood is at the beginning, and then you take the sugar, or the other side would go take their hike, just a brisk walk around campus for a while, and so many minutes you would take that exercising, or not that exercise, but that questionnaire again and check the numbers out, and you did it all day, like once an hour. I can't remember what it was. But what was interesting, and a lot of people know this from all the research that's been done over the years, is that both sugar and exercise, let's see if I can do it this way, your mood will go up because you're pumping positive things into your system. Sugar gives you a high, it tastes good, but plus it gets your internals, your blood and all that going, because now you have sugar in there. So you have some extra energy. Same thing when you work out, unless you're really beating it, pumping iron and sweating to death. Generally, exercise invigorates you, brings some energy up. Well, what we found out is over time, the sugar would start to wear off and you go back down towards baseline. The same thing with exercise, you start going down towards baseline, is that exercise would go down towards baseline. Oh, one other thing, I think sugar actually got you a little bit higher on the energy level, the mood level. But we were young people, college age, so probably reacts differently if you're older. And so anyhow, we noticed that difference, and then as it's coming down towards baseline, we noticed that the exercise went to baseline and stayed there. The sugar went down below baseline, so you crashed, sugar crash, you probably have heard of that, and stayed down there for a bit and came back up to baseline. So what's my point here? Be careful what you pick to raise your mood, because if you're snacking, eating donuts, cookies, whatever, you may feel good for a little while, but if your mood goes down, below baseline, you're gonna be feeling worse than you did before you had the donut. So what have I done? Now, it was before all this stuff happening in September. I've been doing this for months now, is I've been trying to cut out sugar and carbs for health, for different reasons, weight loss. And initially it was very difficult to give that up because my whole life I was a snacker. I get the cravings. I go on the refrigerator. I go into the pantry and look for something to eat. And some days, you may be able to relate to this too. No matter what you eat or how much of it, you don't feel satisfied. Your stomach will feel like it's full, but you still want something. Hear that from people. I just want something. And after a while of just trying not to do that, or if I'm going to have a snack, have something a little bit more beefy, something with more fat and protein in it, is that I gradually started getting off of it. The cravings went away. I felt better. Today I rarely snack. Generally, I just have only 2 meals, and I've been losing weight and getting off meds, which has been great. But that's not a brag. I'm just saying, you get away from sugar and carbs, your health does improve. Other potential addictions besides sugar, there's alcohol, drugs. I have nothing against it, and people use them for different reasons. I mean, I have a glass of wine now and then as well, but the thing is, if you're using it to kill the pain, using it to get your mind off things, that could be a very dangerous road to go down. So you may be able to kill the pain initially, But after a while, it's going to be something to where it's going to be worse than if you never started at all. So be careful with what things you do to help with your mood. Okay? Now this one always makes me smile when I talk about it. It's, hold on a second here. It's relish in this little pleasures. And everybody has their own thing, but these are a couple of mine. Every once in a while I get in the shower and do my thing in there, and I just reach back and turn the heat of the water up just a little bit more, and I just stand under there and just feel the heat go over my body and just melt, just for a minute or two. But just that alone makes my experience a lot better than just getting clean. And then after a shower and a shave, you know, if those of you that shave, enjoy those feelings as well. You know, you're clean, you're shaved, you got a nice smooth skin, your deodorant or aftershave smells really good. I mean, there's days I get out of the bathroom and I go like, man, I just feel like $1,000,000. And it's only lasts for a little bit. You know, after shave, you don't smell that all day. It only lasts a little bit. But, you know, you smell good, you feel good, enjoy it. Gratitude, one of the last things here, or it is the last thing, gratitude. Practice being thankful for what you have, you know. You know what may hit the fan, but you know, you have a roof over your head, a bed to sleep in, some money in the bank, gas in the car, you have eyes to see, ears to hear, legs to get you from one place to another, you know, and you wake up in the morning and you're alive. I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but sometimes that's all we can think of, and be grateful. That helps with your mood, because we tend to, especially in our culture, is we focus on the problems, we focus on the negative. And so let's be thankful for even the little things. And last but not least, journal all that, write it all down. You know, if you have a diary or a journal, write down your gratitude. What are you thankful for today? Your accomplishments for the day, your successes, write that down. Put that positivity in a place that you can refer back to later. And the process of writing it down will also boost your mood. No, we can't fix the world. We can't fix everything. There's a lot of stuff that goes on around, you know, even our health, you know. There's things we just can't predict. There's things we can't do much about. We don't have, you know, we can be helpless at times. Been there more times than I want to ever admit. But you know what? We do have choices, and we do have the power. We are empowered to take care of ourselves and those we love, people we work with. It's, we got to focus on what we can do, not on what we can't do. All right? I hope you found this video helpful. Please subscribe, so when I send out more videos, you'll get them. You get notification that I uploaded a new video. And take a breath. Just relax. Get some oxygen in there. All right, take a breath. We're going to be okay. I'll see you on the next video. Donald out. Bye.